Okay, so this morning I'm going to start with the assignment. I'll have those marked today. Something got lost in translation when I was printing them all off, and I have no idea where I put them, so I'm reprinting them this morning. So I'll get that done probably by noon today. But I'll go through the answers for them this morning so that you can see, you can check your own work right now. So first question. So in a question like this, because you've got two fractions on either side, you can cross multiply to get rid of your terms. So I go 3 times x minus 3 equals 4 times 2x plus 1. 3x minus 9 equals 8x plus 4. I'm going to subtract 3x and subtract 4, so I get negative 13 equals 5x. X is equal to minus 13 over 5. So there's our solution for the first question. I'll go through it fairly quickly, but if you need more explanation, just ask and I'll slow it down for you. Okay, the next question. Same idea. 4 over 2x subtract 3 is equal to 1 over x plus 1. Cross multiply again. X plus 4 is equal to 2x minus 3. Subtract 2x. And I do this. Oh yeah. And then subtract 4, so negative 7. X is equal to negative 7 over 2. Good. So the first one we were just working. Go ahead.
Do we have to the non-permissible values for those ones?
Yeah, you should anytime you are you're doing it. The only reason I didn't put it in there is because I didn't specifically ask for it. But you're 100% right. Anytime you're solving, you should do non-permissible values. So in this case, okay, I'd have x can equal negative 1/2 and 3, and then over here I'd have x can equal 3 over 2 and negative 1. So okay, you should always do it, but in this case, because I didn't specifically ask for it, I didn't mark it as part of it. Okay. All right, number 3. Okay, so number 3 could be done a couple different ways. The way that I would do it is I would find my common denominator and I would multiply everything by the common denominator. So the common denominator in this place, 4, 3, and 2 all go into 12. And then we have the x as well. So I'm going to multiply everything by 12x. Denominator. I get rid of all my denominators, which is what we want when we're solving these questions. So that leaves me with 4 here. That stays. That leaves me with 6 here. And just do this. That means that that's 3x right there. Okay? So I have 4 times 4 plus 9x. So I'm just going to change this first one to 16. Okay. All right. So if by multiplying and getting rid of my denominators, I've cleaned this up fairly well. And now it's fairly easy. Okay, subtract 18 to that side, that gives me a -2. Add 24 to this side gives me a 33x. Okay, and x is equal to -2 over 33. Okay, so the alternative way of doing it is to multiply by each individual denominator and then get rid of it, but you're going to end up, essentially you better end up in this spot here. If you end up there, you shouldn't have a problem getting finished that question. Okay. Number 4. Excuse me. So again, multiply by the common denominator. In this case, 3, 5, and 15 all go into 15, and I have that x. So okay, so this time I'm left with x minus 7. Those cancel. That leaves me at 3 here. So I've got 3 times 9x plus 10. So that's 27x. Add 30. Again, I'm maybe cutting a couple of the steps out. So if it jumps too far, let me know and I can slow it down. Equals, and that's going to leave me with 5x on this side. Okay. So I have 28x plus 23 is equal to 5x. Subtract the 28x, I get negative 23x. And x is equal to -1. All right. Okay. All right, this one. So this next question, I'm going to cross multiply right off the bat here. All right. So I'm going to have x plus 2 times, I'm just changing this to 6x plus 1. All right. It doesn't really do anything, but it makes it, for me, for foiling, makes it aesthetically pleasing. So I've got 3x plus 4 times the denominator on the other side, which is 2x minus 1. So now I'm into foiling. Okay, so I have 6x squared, that's 1x, and 12x makes 13x plus 2 equals 3x and 2x is 6x squared. 3x, that's negative 3x, and then 8x, which gives me 5x. Subtract 4. So I've cut out the two middle guys, and I've simplified them in this to get 13x and 5x. Okay? I see that I have 6x squared and 6x squared. When I subtract, they're going to cancel. So right now I'm left with 13x add 2 equals 5x subtract 4. Subtract 5x gives me 8x equals -6. So I subtract 2. X is equal to -3/4. 6 over 8 or 3/4. There's my solution. So again, it comes down to Comes down to being able to FOIL, okay, and then simplifying at that point there. All right. Okay, so the next question is the fishing boat question. So I'm going to set up a chart to begin with. So upstream into the current, downstream with the current, and I put my total down here. I write distance, speed, and time. Okay, again, I don't like this honesty again. It helps to memorize this, all right, and do it. Okay, so they leave a dock at the same time. One boat heads upstream and the other downstream. At a certain point, boat A is 56 kilometers downstream. So he's gone 56 kilometers. This guy's gone 24. It says the average speed of the current is 8. So this is x minus 8, and this is x plus 8. Because the speed into the current, you're going to take that away from the speed that you're actually traveling. So you subtract the 8, and the speed with the current is x plus 8. So to get the time in each case, this one is 24 over x minus 8. This one is 24 over x plus 8. Now here's the catch in the whole question. Is it says they both leave at the same time and after a certain point. So that means that the time has elapsed the same amount for each. So these times should be equal to each other in order to solve this question. So I go 24 over x minus 8 equals 24 over x add 8. Or sorry, 56. Okay. Cross multiply. (24) times x plus 8, 56 times x minus 8 gives me 24x plus 192 equals 56x minus 448. Subtract gives me 32x, negative 32x, and negative 640. X is equal to 20 kilometers per hour. So this question is probably on the easier side of these style of questions, mostly because your times were equal to each other. You weren't adding and then having to multiply by common denominators. So this is probably one of the easier questions you would get. Okay. All right. Okay, so we go to the last page. Oh, we go to the last page now. And oh, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so this last page, there's a lot of work to every one of these 5 questions. Because the first thing you have to do is you have to factor, then you have to simplify. Once you've got the common denominator, then you have to find the common denominator. And once you have the common denominator, then you have to simplify the numerator and then take it all the way down and then make your cancels happen at that point. Okay, so there's a fair bit of work going on in these questions. So the first one is this. And again, I'm going to cut some corners in terms of factoring in my head and doing things. I have difference of squares. So I have that to begin with, okay? And, all right, so my common denominator is obviously x minus 2, x plus 2. So what is this 5 missing? Well, it's missing the x plus 2. So I times the top and the bottom by x plus 2. Okay, so what I'm left with then is 8 subtract 5 times x add 2 over x minus 2, x add 2. Okay, so that's 8 minus 5x subtract 10 over x minus 2, x add 2. Gives me minus 5x minus 2 over x minus 2, x plus 2, comma, x can equal 2 and negative 2. So I do need to do my non-permissible values in those. All right. Okay, so there's your final solution in this one. Now, if I could factor something out of the negative 5x subtract 2, I would, but I can't, so I don't need to. Okay? All right, number 2. Again, I'm going to factor right away.
Mr. Newton, for the last one, out of the negative 5x minus 2, I took out a negative 1. Is that
That's fine.
right or not?
No, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. I would mark that right.
Okay.
Okay, so I have 2w, and I have w plus 2, w plus 3, minus w subtract 6 over w plus 2, w plus 4. Okay? So I'm at that point right there. My common denominator is each one of the denominators here. Okay, I'm going to write them out one time. So w plus 2, w plus 3, w plus 4. So those are my 3 denominators that I got to worry about. So again, I don't know how you get this wrapped around in your own head, but the way I say it to myself is like, I look at this guy right here, w plus 2 and w plus 3, and I say, okay, what do I have to add to that in order to get this denominator? And clearly it's a w plus 4. So then I go 2w times w plus 4. Subtract. What is this guy missing? The w plus 2, w plus 4. What is it missing? It's missing a w plus 3. Okay? Now, I don't know of an easier way to explain it. Okay? But that to me is the best way that I can come up with. All right, so now I have to get rid of the brackets and I have to simplify the top while leaving the bottom as is. Okay, so I have 2w squared plus 8w minus bracket. I'm going to FOIL that. That is w squared minus 6 and 3 is minus 3w minus 18. All right. So I'm at that point. I still have to get rid of one more set of brackets. Still have to get rid of one more set of brackets, and that's this. And I get rid of those brackets by distributing the negative through them. Okay. All right, now at this point, I need to simplify my common terms. 2w squared subtract w squared is w squared. 8w and 3w is 11w. And then I have add 18. Okay, so now we're in a pretty good spot right now. But again, I have a quadratic on the top and I have to ask myself, can I factor that quadratic? And I can. So I factor this to w plus 9, w plus 2, all over w plus 2, w plus 3, w plus 4. So like I said, there's a ton of work involved here. And really it's your factoring and your foiling, and you just hitting it in both directions. Okay, now can I cancel something? The w plus 2's cancel. So the final solution for this guy is that w plus 9 over w plus 3 times w plus 4, where w cannot equal -2, -3, and -4. That's a doozy of a question. That's probably the most amount of work you're going to see in one question is this guy. All right. I'll leave this up here for a second. Any questions about it? Okay, we're all good. I'll flip to number 3 now. Change up the color. Okay, number 3 is multiplying. So I have 3x minus 5. X minus 3, x plus 3. Times 2, x minus 3. And it should be minus 5 plus 1. Okay, so that one's a little bit harder to factor. And then I'm going to multiply, I'm going to reciprocate. So I've got x plus 3 over x subtract 3. Okay. Multiplication and division, if you can factor, if you can factor well, you're going to make this question quite a bit easier. Yes, Austin.
Sorry, I thought I had a question, but no,
Okay. Okay, so now it's just a case of canceling whatever's on the top and whatever's on the bottom, and then writing out your final solution with your non-permissibles. Okay, so x plus 3, that cancels. X minus 3, that cancels. 3x minus 5, put that in brackets, that cancels. And I've canceled everything that I can here. So I'm left with So on that page, that's probably the easier of the questions on that page because you're multiplying and dividing. So I have 2 over x minus 3, x plus 1. X cannot equal plus minus 3, 5 over 3, and negative 1. Okay? All right. Let's look at number 4 now. Okay, actually, I'm just going to change this. I don't like green right now. All right, so number 4. I'm going to factor the bottom in 2 steps, but I'm going to do it all at once. So I want you just to watch and make sure if you don't understand, you can ask. Okay, so the first thing I did was I took out a greatest common factor, which was x. And then that left me with x squared plus x subtract 6. So that's x plus 3, x minus 2. Subtract x minus 8 over x minus 8, x plus 3. All right, so I have quite a range here of common denominator. So I have x plus 3, x minus 2, x minus 8. So I have 4 factors on the bottom that are part of my common denominator. All right. So now again, I look at this one and I say, okay, well, what am I missing? Well, from this on the bottom, all I'm missing is the x minus 8. So I have 2x times x minus 8 here. Subtract x minus 8. And what is this guy missing? Well, he's missing the x and the x minus 2.
Mr. Newton,
Yeah.
when you're doing for the non-permissible values, like say for this, like the top thing,
Yeah.
like, is there 5 of them or just 4 of them?
There's just the 4 in the denominator in this case, Amber.
Okay, you don't worry about that ascending.
Not on top, no.
Not like on top, but the
Sorry.
one that's beside, like.
Oh yeah, no, 100%, yeah. So it's 0, negative 3, plus 2, plus 8.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Now, one of the things I didn't do and I maybe could have done at this point is I could have actually canceled these 2 out and left it out. All right. But instead, I'm going to do it right now. So I notice, and this is going to make so if you were to do this out, and I'm sure you probably did, you would have multiplied this out and got a cubic function, okay, which would have made things fairly difficult for you because then you would have to factor out an x again. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something. This x minus 8, this x minus 8, because both those terms have x minus 8, I can cancel them with the bottom one. So I didn't really need this. Now I could have also done it right here. I could have canceled those out right there. And that would have made this question a fair bit easier as well. The only reason I didn't cancel them out right here is because of the non-permissibles. I needed you to know that 8 is a non-permissible value. So at this point, I've canceled it. So now what I'm looking at is this. I have 2x, subtract x times x minus 2 on top. And on the bottom, I have x add 3, x minus 2. So it almost looks to us like that x minus 8 didn't exist. But because it was up here and it is a non-permissible, I needed to leave it in there. So now at this point, I'm going to simplify. So I've got 2x minus x squared, add 2x over x, x plus 3, x minus 2. So I'm going to end up with negative x squared plus 4x up here. Okay? So that's what I have when I simplify this. 2x and 2x make 4x and negative x squared. I can factor out a negative x. That leaves me with x minus 4 on top over x, x plus 3, x minus 2. Those x's will cancel with each other. So I'm left with negative x subtract 4 on top, x plus 3, x minus 2 on the bottom. X cannot equal 0, negative 3, 2, 8. There's my solution. That's something different here, but that's where I'm at. All right. Any questions or comments about this question? Okay. All right, last question, number 5. Okay. Number 5. Again, I'm going to factor out an x on the bottom of the right fraction, and then I'm going to factor it at that point. So my common denominator is 4 terms again. So I'm working with 4 terms. Okay. So what is this guy missing? It's missing an x and an x minus 1. So I got 2 times x minus 1. This guy's missing x minus 2. Okay. So I have 2x squared minus 2x. So I multiply that through, that gives me x squared minus x, and then times that by 2. So I get 2x squared minus 2x plus 3x minus 6 all over x, x minus 1, x minus 2, x add 3. Simplify it, 2x squared plus x minus 6 over x, x minus 1, x minus 2, x add 3. Now I'm going to factor the top part. I got to make sure I got this right. I had something. Okay, so this top part factors now. That's 2x, and that's x. And sorry, I'm going to do this in my head again. So I need the factors of 6. So I need this to be a 2, and this to be a 3. And that has to be a plus, and that has to be a minus. I think that's right.
Mr. Newton, I'm just looking back at the very top of your very first line.
Yeah.
You factored the 3 over x times x plus 3x minus 1. But x, or positive 3 and negative 1 would be positive 2x. And that the...
Hold on. Okay. So let me just look at this again. So the top line is right, correct?
No, I think it should be... I don't think that the second one is factorable.
All right, let's have a look. No, it's not. You're right. Okay, so I've messed this thing up entirely. This is not right here. Okay, so let's do that again. So then I get x squared plus x minus 3, like that. Okay. All right, so I have to include that as part of my, so I've got x plus 3, x minus 2, x, and x squared plus x minus 3, like that. All right, I agree with you. Good pickup there. So now I'm going to start from scratch because I messed up mine. All right, so what is this guy, what is this guy missing? It's missing these two right here. Is it not? Yeah. So with here, so that's x cubed plus x squared minus 3x, like that. Add 3 times x plus 3, x minus 2. So I get 2x cubed plus 2x squared minus 6x plus 3 times x, so it would be whatever that is, x squared plus x minus 6. I almost feel like that was a misprint, but whatever. Okay, so I'm going to multiply that through, so I'm going to end up with 2x cubed, 2x squared minus 6x plus 3x squared plus 3x minus 18. Like that. I feel like this question wasn't done right, or wasn't written right. All right, so let's get our final answer here. So I've got 2x cubed, 2x squared and 3x squared is plus 5x squared, minus 6x and 3x is minus 3x, minus 18, all over x plus 3, x minus 2, x squared plus x minus 3. I think we're leaving it at that. And that makes it difficult for your non-permissibles. So I'm going to have to look and see. I feel like this question wasn't the right question. I feel like there probably should have been a 2 in that second bracket. Rather than 3x here, I think this should have been a 2 right there. So I'll leave it as is. That's your final solution. Your non-permissibles, if you gave me -3, 2, and 0, I would mark it right. All right. So let me look at that when we get closer to it. But I think, like I said, I think the question was wrong. Okay. All right. So, okay. So that's that. So I'll look at that last question a little bit closer. All right. Any questions about the assignment then?
Did you put the mark in for some people and not others because they did bad, or?
No, no. Your mark will go in whether you did better than your average or not. What happened was I started to mark them yesterday afternoon, and then I realized I didn't have them all printed off. I thought I did, so I only had 2. I got to print them all off again this morning, where I did print them off this morning, Amron. So I'm going to look at them today. Hopefully in the next hour or two, I'll get a little bit of time to mark them. But they should be on PowerSchool by today. And whether your mark, if it doesn't improve your mark, it's still going to be on there. It'll just be as an exempt one. Okay. So I'll get to that at some point. Okay. That's the assignment. One of the things I can offer my opinion. I feel like we're going through this and we're doing a real good job and a real good pace to this. To the point where we would probably finish where we need to finish. But the one thing I want to make sure is that this is a hard situation for you because you really are doing it on your own. So I don't want you to be overwhelmed, okay? Any more than you already are with the circumstances being what they are. So what I'm going to ask is that basically, what's today, Wednesday, is I'm going to give you today and tomorrow to finish to the end of 7.3. I'll look at 7.4. Well, I'll have an assignment for you from 7.1 to 7.3. And then 7.4, I'll look at with you maybe Friday. I'm just a little, like, we only have 2 more sections to go after 7, and we have about a month and about 5
Mr. Newton.
5 weeks. Yeah, Amber.
I don't know if this is true or not. Does Mrs. Beerman sit in her French class? Do we have school on Friday, or is it like parent-teacher interviews or something?
Geez, I have no idea, Amber. You know what? I'm just gonna come in as well. Geez, I don't know. Was it supposed to be parent teachers on Friday? I'll look and follow Edmodo, and I will. That means I'll have to have the assignment ready for tomorrow. So, anyways, back to what I was saying. I want to make sure that we are not being overwhelmed right now. I'm moving through this almost at the same pace as I would move through this as if you were in class with me, and I don't want you all to be struggling and feeling like you're helpless right now. So I'm going to kind of slow it down a little bit. And with saying that, are there any issues with 7.1, 7.2, or 7.3 that you would like to ask this morning that I can help you with? So let's start with that right now. Are there anything from 7.1, 7.2, 7.3? How are we doing? Just flat out, I've got 6 or 7 of you on here. How are we?
I've been going through it pretty slow, but I'm getting it done, yeah.
Okay. No, that's fine. I just don't want you to be overwhelmed. The more I think about it, I don't know. I can't imagine how difficult this must be to learn this way, but I just want to make sure that you're all doing okay and that you're not feeling like this is a lost cause.
Is there a next unit graphing too or something?
In this section, it's chapter 7.
Yeah, like chapter 8.
Oh, chapter 8. I never looked that far ahead, Amron. Yeah, solving questions graphically, linear, quadratic. Yeah, there's some graphing in it. There's more algebra. It's very similar to what you've already done in applied. It's not going to be new to you.
Just for me personally, when you're doing the video, is a lot easier when we're doing like math questions, I guess, and like factoring and radicals. Now it's like harder with the graphing because sometimes it will cut out and then I can't necessarily see the best, or it's hard more for myself to follow along when you graphing. But.
Okay. Do you look back at the YouTube after the fact?
Yeah, I
Does it work?
I left the.
And does it show up okay on it?
Yeah, that works good.
Okay.
Yeah, I know for myself personally, the phone often gets blurry, so I have the laptop out as well with YouTube at the same time. So if I can't see what you're doing on the phone, I can at least see it on the computer.
Yeah, I would if you have the ability to do it, I would leave the laptop open to YouTube just for the visual.
Yeah, that's what I got going on.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. I learned that kind of early on that is the best way for you to see it. All right. Okay, so what we'll do tomorrow is I'm just going to open up a meeting and let's do just kind of a day of making sure that we get all the questions done in 7.3 tomorrow. And I'll try and post the assignment. So again, I mentioned this the other day. I'm going to post the assignments in Teams now, and then I'll have you post them back in Teams, and let's see if that works better. I'm trying it with the grade 12s today, or yesterday and today. So we'll see kind of how that works. But I think it's going to be a little bit easier for you guys to print and then send back. Although your particular class has been fantastic. You guys have done a great job of sending these in as PDF files, and it's been a lot easier than the other two classes. That's for sure. So now I don't even know how to find them. Darn it. Okay. Okay, is there anything else you need from me today, gang?
No, I don't think so.
Ladies, anything from you?
No, pretty good.
Okay. All right, great. So then tomorrow morning we'll be back on, and I'm gonna open this up, and if you just want to have conversations like you did the other day, working through this together, you can. I'm not going to show 7.4 until, well, if Friday was supposed to be a day off for you, I won't do it Friday. I'll do it Monday. Okay, but
yeah, it just says it's the 9/12 administration day. So I don't know if that means that there's no school.
yeah, I'll look it up online.
Oh, looks like today we're supposed to be going to our branding career fair.
Oh yeah, that's too bad. That's a good trip.